My friends, I don't think Darwin knew a lot about machine monitoring, but there is a true evolution happening in manufacturing right now. And I think back to my days of being a machinist and all the technology that I wish I had, whether physical or digital. And being with Greg, I've had the opportunity to learn so much. And listening to your philosophy about this process that everyone seems to be going through currently, about the adaptation with AI, what's it gonna be? Machine monitoring, does it really help me? ERP, is it giving me enough? All of these step-by-step processes, we're losing a lot of time, not just days, weeks, months, but even years potentially to actually get to the point where we need to be to find the success to move our company forward quicker. And that's the philosophy that you and I wanna talk about today, isn't it?
It sure is. I mean, opening with Darwin, boy, we better deliver. We better deliver on this
I thought you might like that.
So, a theory of evolution, adaptation. I mean, I think really what you're talking about and what we see, Tony, in the evolution of how to make more, right? That's really what every manufacturer is trying to figure out, is how do I make more in a way that positions my business for long-term growth, long-term health and success and profitability. And where manufacturers have struggled significantly, and really the reason machine monitoring categorically exists, is because we've sort of been stuck in this, how much can I get out of my ERP situation? And at Datanomix, we call these the ERPiphanies, the ERPiphanies. Like,
I like that.
What have you figured out yet, right? So when we talk to folks, sort of the levels from the bottom to the top, like the lowest level of evolution. And this is not an insult. It's just, a representation
it helps us understand.
Where people are at and what they're trying to uncover and how they're trying to figure out how to make more. So, at sort of the level one is like, hey, we have our ERP. It tells us everything that we need to know. And, a lot of folks that are in that situation, it's like, so you really know the true job costing. You really know the real machine time. You really know the real cycle times. The operators have very direct feedback about what you coded on the job, and that's connected back to how you actually performed, and you can net out plus or minus your profitability on everything you made. Well, no. Okay, so, does your ERP really tell you everything you need to know is sort of step one, and that's not a knock on ERP. It's just like the job of ERP is financial system, accounting, materials, work orders, invoices, purchase orders, labor, right? And labor tracking. And so then the next level is, well, a lot of people say, we're not using our ERP to its full potential. And I mean, that's a universal statement, right? You ask anybody, we're using 10% of the inspection, we're using 20% of this, we're using 5% of that. And a lot of folks then sort of at level two, they go down this path of, well, we're gonna go spend a year and a half, 2 years, I've seen, maximizing how we get better data out of our ERP. And sometimes that means switching ERP systems, which, is like a lung transplant. It's not a different shirt. It's not a new sport coat. It's an organ transplant. So people say, hey, we didn't get everything. Was that a systemic issue with the system we had, or what is it? And they switch ERPs, and of course they get better through that process, right? There's been a lot of modernization in ERPs, new workflows, better user interfaces, simpler, more user-friendly. And then somewhere after that switch, 12, 18 months later, they're back where they were at the beginning, which is, I'm not actually getting everything that I needed to know out of my ERP. So what's a person to do? And level three is sort of the realization of like, oh, that's why machine data exists as a source of, information and insight that's available to us. And when they hit that point, we call it the fork in the road. So literally, am I going to do more with my ERP? One path. Or am I going to start using machine data to figure out how to get the insight that I've not been able to get, whether it was with the first ERP I had, the second ERP I had, the seventh ERP I had. It's just systemically, you're missing the machine data and you're missing the picture that the machine data provides you. And you think, aha, that's the end of the road. It's not, because there's a lot of ways to get machine data too. And you could go the really simple route. Well, let's just get spindle uptime and see how far that takes us. That's sort of the equivalent of saying, let me get more out of my ERP, because the real question you have to ask is, what's the set of information that's going to actually help me answer the most critical questions for the business? Am I profitable? Am I running to standard? What should I make more of? What should I make less of? What should I sell more of? What should I get rid of? How do I incentivize my team? And doing all those things is not just a technology choice. It's a culture choice. It's a change choice. It's an attitude choice. And when people get to that point, they realize, oh, it's not just the machine data. It's actually the way I systematize bringing digital tools into my culture that help me get better, help me understand how to do it very easily, very simply, so that I can unlock all the different ways to make more. So the simple recap is, I think I get everything from my ERP. Figure out you don't. Let me switch ERPs. Made a bunch of improvements on a bunch of dimensions. Still don't know all I need to know about my operations to truly leverage how to make more. Maybe this is why machine data exists. Okay, let me start looking at machine data. Do I want some simple thing that also doesn't give me answers? Or do I really want to go whole hog and be a data-powered business that knows how to make more all day, every day? And when we talk to customers and we see where they are in the evolution, the number of folks that have made the connection that the machine data is what's missing and that they have to go all in on how to get better, no more excuses, no more holding back, no more thinking that's the way it's always been or that's how it has to be, it needs to be hard, it needs to be messy. That's where the unlock is, man. And it's deeply philosophical and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you can see it in my face and in my eyes, if the audience can as well, but I'm so involved in this conversation. Like what you've described to me is eye-opening, it's awareness. And a few thoughts that come up to me is, I might have started this with Darwin, but you had a fork in your pocket. That was incredible. Secondly, did you ever play that game Chutes and Ladders growing up?
Oh yeah.
This reminds me a lot of that, where
Sure.
I can listen to you.
Yep.
I can want to make more, honestly want to make more,
No
not
doubt.
just an idea we
Yeah.
all say, right?
Right.
But truly want to make more, and I can take that ladder to the top.
Right.
Or I can go through months, if not years,
Snake pits.
Yeah, snake pits and slides of how much time is wasted
Right.
by being stubborn
Right.
and saying, I need to go this route to come all the way back here to get right back where I started to jump into making more.
Exactly.
I think a lot of times, as a machinist myself, as an owner of a couple of companies, both you and I have owned a couple of companies, sometimes we think we know best. And I think it's really important, as Steve Jobs would have said, to surround ourselves with people who know more than us. And that's what you do for those shops out there, to allow them to go, we know you can make stuff,
Right.
but let's make more.
Right.
I mean, that to me is one of the most brilliant things you could post on your booth.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, at the end of the day, and we talked about this yesterday, right? We are the collection of wisdom of those who came before us, who have been trying to make more, right? We don't have any magical, special insight, like we're at the top of the mountain or in the ivory tower and we're telling people, exactly what they should have been doing differently. What we've done is listen to what's in the struggle to make more. And the ERPiphanies come from the struggle. We know what that cycle is because so many of our customers burned 18 months switching systems, trying to get more out of a system, not getting machine data, not getting the right machine data until ultimately they figured out what the missing link was to give them the insight they needed. And it just unlocked, so many chutes, right?
Yeah.
It gets them right to the finish line of actually being able to see, hear, understand, and what they need to do in order to make more. So, we know this cycle because it's been shown to us, not because we have some, magical insight. We've just been working with people through this struggle to make more. And we believe our job, our duty, and our obligation is to help people get through that struggle to unlock making more.
Have you ever played the game Contra from the original Nintendo?
Of course.
To me, Datanomix feels like a cheat code. Do you remember the cheat code from
left, right,
up, down,
up, down,
yeah.
A, B, select,
Datanomix
start.
is your cheat code, just like Contra for my friends out there. Skip the hard work. Get into making more immediately. Don't go through the failures that other people have gone through. As Greg said, this is learning through other people's failures to bring you the success immediately. This is the philosophy that goes into it. This is a bit of Darwinism as well, and he brought a fork. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you again real soon.